Prepare yourself. Proceed to your reward.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of Corecast, the weekly podcast where we talk about everything Metabuff and Core. I'm your host, the one and only Mangoose. Joining me, as always, is Nato Cristo. How you doing, Nato?
I am doing wonderful. Mangoose, how about you? I'm doing great. I'm happy to be back. Episode 2. It's another crossover episode.
Still a little sad. We're recording this on the day that the alpha was supposed to launch for Metabuff, but they did, of course, delay that launch. So, and a lot of people have been asking how they can get access to the when the alpha is going to be coming out. And I think the best way to keep yourself up to date, and this is something that Metabuff wanted us to put out to you guys, is you need to sign up for the newsletter on their website. That is metabuff.com, and it's easy to do. As soon as you access the website, you will be prompted to enter your email to get to the newsletter. Did you sign up for the newsletter, Nato?
Yes. No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
But I'm going to. No. I'm going to, though. I have not. I just haven't had time, and I kind of didn't realize it was there. I've been really busy the past week, but it is super important, and that is, yes, Mangoose and Metabuff is right, that if you guys want any and all news, that's going to be the best place to go. That they're going to have everything there.
Yeah, I signed up for it, but you and I are constantly digging into them for trying to get news ourselves. So
right. Yeah, I figured the news are the news thing might not be as beneficial as, my natural digging that I'm always doing, trying to find something.
I think it would behoove the fans, though, not to wait for us to give you the info, but try and get that info yourself by signing up for that newsletter. And one correction I want to make from the last episode is I said that this was going to be on iTunes. It will be on iTunes, but I just wanted to say that the alpha for Corecast will be on iTunes, but the beta will be on PS4. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to upload this to as many of the podcast platforms as we can, not just iTunes. I only said iTunes because that's what I happen to use, and so that was what was fresh in my mind. So I do apologize if there was a little confusion over that, and I think it's a good thing that people are very enjoyed the first show so much that they're concerned that they won't be able to access it in the future. So
yeah.
That's cool shit, man. Cool shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I was taking it. People were, everyone was giving good response, and then like everybody that I showed it to, they were just like, "Oh, it's really cool. It just sucks it's only going to be on iTunes." And I was like, "I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but I'll talk to Mongoose."
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, yeah. But it's kind of bittersweet that we're here today on the 27th of April, on the day it was supposed to be released. Instead of getting the alpha, you guys are getting us instead.
Oh, what a poor replacement.
I know, worst trade deal in history ever.
I really expected that they would have something special to put out today, since they are not putting out the alpha, but they didn't. And I would rather that they reserve that time to work hard on getting the alpha out as fast as possible than coming up with something cool to show us on the 27th. But I was a little bummed. I was a little bummed that we didn't get any little special tidbits today.
Yeah, you also got to think too, like they can't be that much further, from where they were, when they made the announcement to where they are now. So, them pushing something out for today would just be forcing something, and that's kind of the whole point of extending, pushing out the date. That's what everybody wants. We don't want anything forced. So, it's unfortunate we're not getting something, but I think it's just another kind of indicator that we're in good hands, that they're not rushing anything just to hype us up. They're showing us stuff when it's necessary, and when it's ready to show, and they're not getting stuff out just to get it out. So I think it's a very bittersweet thing.
Yeah, and on that note, we really don't have that much in the way of news and updates. Just wanted to get that newsletter information out to you guys, but we do have several topics lined up. This is suggestions that a lot of the fans had for Core, or questions that people had for Core, that we are going to discuss. And the first one, and these are mainly coming from Nato, is dunkable buffs. You had a lot of people asking for dunkable buffs, not just the Orb Prime, but various buffs that you would be able to dunk, kind of like you did back in Legacy.
Yeah, and when they first mentioned that, I'm not sure if the person who initially mentioned it said it was from another game. I can't fully remember. I don't know if like Smite or one of them does it, but they said dunkable buffs would be a really cool thing. Not just Orb Prime, just like, if you get like a movement speed buff, you normally if you kept it for yourself, you would get it for like 120 seconds. And like the example, obviously it'd be completely worked on, but the example they gave was like, or you could sacrifice to your team and everybody gets it for like 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Like something, you spread it out to your team and everybody gets it for a little bit, or you keep it for yourself and you get it, you get all of it. I thought that was a really cool idea, but just, however it would be played out, just the idea of being able to have a buff and go there and dunk it, that would be so cool. Like, every buff could potentially be, a play for the team. I really like that idea. I thought it was really, really cool. It sounded kind of unique too. And, if it isn't another game, it's maybe in one or two other places, because I've never really heard of that. So I think that'd be something that'd be really cool.
I was just wondering if they would just always be the same dunk location, like you would dunk your green or red buff or blue buff, whatever the buffs may be, or if it would just be like when you kill the Revenant, which is, what they're calling Fangtooth, if that would be a dunkable buff. I don't know if I like it. There's already a few problems with dunking prime buff that people don't like. I think if you add even more in there, it might just make things a little too heavy on the complicated side. I mean, I know Paragon dumbed things down to where it was absolutely ridiculously easy, and people really want to avoid that. But I think you don't want to overcompensate and go the other direction with it and overcomplicate everything.
Right. Right. But like on the flip side of that too, you could always, there's limitations you could have to it. And like, even then, a move, like it could be, they could limit it to only river buffs, no blue or red buffs. You don't want the whole team getting a damage buff. But the river buff, like the whole team, like I said, like, the movement speed, like everybody gets movement speed for, like a few seconds, for like 15, 30 seconds. It's not going to be that huge of a game changer, but it could mean that much to somebody. And I think it would be less, kind of time consuming and like less babysitting than the prime dunking, because it's such a small buff. Who cares if the whole team gets an extra movement speed for 10 seconds? If someone's there, they're going to try to stop it, but I don't think it'd be, it would cause an entire team fight or everybody to collapse or, abandon their lanes like it would for Orb Prime.
Right. And that does lead to a meaningful decision. If you get the jungler with a speed buff, that might, a speed buff in and of themselves, just, not shared with the team, that might be more effective in the long run than giving a smaller duration buff to the entire team. So I don't know, it might lead to some meaningful decisions and be a cool thing to do. That's something that they would have to work out on their end. That's not something that's going to be like in core. This is just, suggestions that we're talking about. I don't want to clarify that right now because people might think that we're talking about something that is going to be in core. Just want to clarify that we're just talking about community suggestions here.
Yeah. This is all stuff that people in my stream have just for the past few weeks. And, even if I'm not doing core stuff, I'm always there to answer questions and take suggestions from the community. And over the past few weeks, kind of since they announced it was being delayed, I've been, just pulling people into my stream and just asking questions. What are things you would like to see in core? What are things that you think make other MOBAs successful that you really enjoy about that MOBA, but you would like to see, with core's play style. So none of this stuff is like in the game or like confirmed or anything like that. This is 100% just like, I would like to see this, or like this is a cool idea. Let's talk about it. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it certainly is fun to discuss and talk about in the parameters of Paragon. So let's move on to the next one, which was choose lane before start. So, during the draft or what have you, when you're choosing your heroes, the ability to choose your lane, which is very commonplace in pretty much every MOBA. I looked through their frequently asked questions. I couldn't find anything. And I also reviewed the UI video. In the UI video, mid lane is selected, but they never showed that mid lane, a lane selection. Like they showed whether a selection of preference for support or, solo lane or any of that thing.
Right.
But they never showed a preference for which lane. However, it was selected in the UI, so I think that's probably something that's coming, and it's something that they're working on.
Yeah, I hope it is, because that'd be a really cool thing to have. Because, like, yes, you can assume someone's lane based off their character selection, but you never know. It's Paragon. That's what everybody loved about Paragon. You'd see a Gideon in the jungle once in a blue moon, and you'd be like, oh, that's stupid. But then they end up doing really good, and then you tried and it's horrible, and then you want to uninstall the game. But that's what we loved about Paragon. Just being able to just completely do anything. So knowing that before the match starts is a really, really good thing. Being able to say, okay, I want to play, Quang, and I want to play him, on the solo lane. People know that I'm going to be in solo lane, because the last thing you want is to load in. You have this entire game planned out how your build's going to go, but it all has to happen in the solo lane for you, and then you go there and some guy takes the solo lane and is just taking your farm and just being annoying, and you can't do anything about it. So I think picking your lane is going to be a great thing. If that's something that they do, I think that's something that should really be in there. I don't think it'd be hard to implement that kind of option, because you're not really picking anything. You're just kind of selecting an icon.
Right.
I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely very important to be able to indicate where you want to go before the game, because like you said, and then you might pick Kwong with the full intention of going solo lane, but then somebody else might think that you picked Kwong to go jungle, and then all of a sudden you have this, face off between you and that guy. Like, no, I picked Kwong for off lane. No, you should be playing Kwong jungle. And then it ends up being an argument. And then there's one thing I know about MOBAs: the team that fights amongst themselves 9 times out of 10 will lose the game, no matter how good the individual players are.
Yeah, you can. This is not a team deathmatch. It's a team. It's a team battle. You want to you want to work as a team, and yeah, if as soon as you and your team start arguing, you just know, like, as soon as the toxicity it's there, you're just like, yep, I'm losing this one.
What used to piss me off is when I would pick jungle. I'd indicate that I wanted to be a jungle. And I would pick a jungler like Grux or sometimes Crunch, whatever. And then somebody else would also, like, just out of nowhere be like, oh, well, I'm going to go jungle too. I'm like, wait, what? No. I picked the jungler already. They're like, well, we could share the jungle. No, you can't share the jungle. That never works. I hate when, oh no, I do it all the time. I share the jungle. Like, no, that means you're going to take all of my fucking jungle. And then I'm going to be left with my ass hanging out in the wind, under-farmed and under-leveled.
Exactly. Yeah. Stuff like that is something that could really be avoided by having a pick your lane option, which would be great.
Share the jungle.
I used to get that shit all the time. Like, yeah, there's 2 jungles. You take one, I take the other. That's not how that works. That's not what that's for. Oh man.
I mean, stuff like that can work if you are in a coordinated environment. Like if you're 5 stacking with friends and you want to share the jungle and it's a friend and you actually are going to share the jungle responsibilities and it just makes you a mobile gank team, that can work. That really can work. But when you're just solo queued up, fucking, if somebody takes the role that you want to play, take the opportunity to learn a different role, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Just try something new. It's not a hard thing.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, but that was kind of the fun of Paragon too, is always having that, that unsurety or whatever, however you want to put it. That's just kind of what made it fun. You never knew what was really going to happen. And then stupid stuff like that you never would expect, like, sharing a jungle. You'd sometimes see it on the other team, and then you're like, oh, that's stupid. They're going to lose. And all of a sudden, both junglers are extremely fed somehow. And you're wondering, how much money they're paying to Epic to give them extra coins and amber. That's what made the game fun, though.
And it's something I think Core really wants to stress is that they want people to be able to play the game they want. That's the main thing we got out of the proof of concept videos. I mean, I don't think a lot of those concepts are going to come out, but the main thing that you could really, the main thread of those proof of concept videos was individual experiences for the player. And part of that is being able to play your hero wherever you want. I mean, of course, there's going to be meta picks and everything, but like nobody ever would have thought Revenant would have made a good solo laner, but he was a pretty damn good solo laner and played in that lane in the competitive scene in the PCL.
Right, yeah, exactly. And then even characters like, Seraph, like she was made to be a carry, but there were plenty of people that jungled with her, or I saw people that would solo lane with her even, and
Yeah.
they were really good. If people just, you could play, if you were good enough with your character and you were confident, and you had the right deck, you could play any character anywhere, and that's really real. That was like the real part about Paragon that I loved. That was, that made it fun. Like that was pure fun.
And it could be argued that Serath's the worst place to play Serath would be as the carry, as in the ADC with in the duo lane. A lot of people would argue that. I mean, I have friends that would definitely disagree. They love playing Serath in the ADC role in the duo lane, but they were usually queued up with me, and I knew what was going on, and we knew how to play that composition. But yeah, I think Serath was definitely much better off as a jungler or solo laner.
Yeah, she really was. Because then, she could survive on her own. She had enough, survivability to fight against a Greystone or, a Quang or, a Fang Mao. But then she could put out the damage that like a Twin Blast or a Murdoch could do. So it made for a really deadly combo for later on in the game. And you have Gideon doing his ultimate with the black hole, and then Twin Blast just popping shots inside of there while everyone's stuck, and Dareth is just running around, slapping around with her mace. It was so much. Like you could really get so much damage if you had a good team and you knew how to play a carry in a non-carry position.
And she had everything a jungler needs, which is fast clear times. She had a good engage / escape. She had CC to slow people down, and she had a safe chase through what was it called, Heaven's Fury, where she would go immune and then send her after images out. Like, you could catch somebody under the tower with that and be completely safe doing so. So, yeah, I thought she made an amazing jungler.
Yeah, she really was. She was super underplayed in the jungle. And whenever I was against an enemy Serath jungle, I knew I was in for a tough time. I was just like, yeah, this is going to be horrible.
Moving on to the next topic is uncapped mastery system for customizable characters and mastery crowns. And I had to have you explain this one to me earlier because I wasn't quite sure what you meant. So go ahead and let people know what that means.
Yeah, so when this was brought up in my stream, I had the person clarify because I wanted to know what they meant, and we went over it, and it was talking about going past the master level. So like the example I gave Mangoose earlier was you hit level 10. Let's just say you hit level 10, that's your mastery. You get your mastery, and then from there, you continue on, and then you unlock the ability to kind of customize your character with, maybe like mix matching, like different clothes, or even just like changing the color of a costume. Instead of having, Shinbi with, 15 different, skins, but they're all just color changes, you just have her main costume, and you can change colors. You unlock them after you do your mastery. Because what are you going to do? As much as you want to play a character out, once you hit master, it's almost like I'm not getting anything from this. Why do it? So I think that'd be cool if there was just additional colors and stuff like that, like variants of like let's just say for an example, the master skin, they're going to keep the firing like glowing lava skin. That's not been confirmed, but I'm just saying. If that was, what if you could unlock like a neat, like a green variant? So instead of like the red lava, it's green. Just like goofy stuff like that like shows that you're continuing to play the character, and like there is stuff to do after the mastery. I think that's something that's really important because like there were people who mastered almost every character, and instead of continuing to play, they would just make a new account and try to remaster them because there was really nothing to do after that, or it felt like that almost. So doing stuff like that is what the person meant, like unlocking those kind of options, and like exclusive, like like just going off the Shinbi idea, like an exclusive like Shinbi icon you get for hitting like level 12, or just like cool stuff like that was what they meant.
Yeah, and I went ahead and posted in from the frequently asked questions for Core. Is the question was, what will the hero mastery system be like? And their answer was, the hero mastery system will reward players for mastering a character through special rewards specific to the character, such as player icon options, titles, cosmetics, and special character customization options. So it does sound like that they are going to go in that direction. We don't know how far they're going to go in that direction, but it's something that the fans want, and it looks like it's something that the fans are going to get.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good to hear. I didn't know those in the FAQ. That's an amazing thing to have in there. I think, yeah, like I said, it's just a really cool thing because, like I said, imagine, you see like you're a master, I'm a master Chimera. I jump in my game and there's another master Chimera on the other team, but he's like mastery 12, like he's hit level 12. He unlocked, this like cool, like, like instead of like red lava, it's like, black or something. And it just looks, it adds that extra layer. If it's like, okay, this dude's dedicated to playing this character. Like he didn't just hit mastery, he's continuing to go past it. Stuff like that is really cool. It's just small details that keep you in a game and want, make you want to continue to play. And you don't lose replayability for a character that you feel like you've already finished.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because that any game needs to have that. It needs to have like a continuing cycle of things to do. Otherwise, people are going to lose interest. And I think this system, this mastery system, is an excellent example of that. I mean, it could be a lot like the only thing I can really think to compare it to is Overwatch, where you get all these different little stickers and icons and stuff beyond the skins that you can unlock for each character, and just keep going until you can try and unlock every single thing.
Exactly. And like, so like my example for that too was like, just off the top of my head, like when I mastered Chimera, I loved Chimera so much. I'd want to play him all the time. But like the only time I'd play him is if me and my friends, we would like 3 or 4 or 5 stack. If we wanted to win, I would play. Or if, I wanted to try hard, I would do Chimera. But other than that, it's like, I would look at Chimera and then, look at my playtime for maybe like Quang. And it's like, I mean, I guess I could continue Quang because I have to unlock stuff with him, and there's nothing I can unlock for Chimera. So it's almost just like, what's the point besides just showing off my master skin? I'm not getting anything from the match really.
Right.
Yeah, so giving that extra little incentive, even if it's just small stuff, like I said, just like a color variant for some of for the master skin, just something small like that even. But it already sounds like, they have more planned, having, player icons, titles, cosmetic, like, stuff like that. I think that's a really cool thing that they're already involving.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, but like mix and matching the skins would be a little difficult because of the way the Unreal Engine's set up. But this is something I just thought of, because I've been messing around with the skins a lot in Unreal Engine, and I haven't seen any of the mastery skins for any of the heroes in the unreleased assets. So I'm kind of wondering if those are going to come back or not.
Really? That's interesting. Maybe that's something they didn't want to release.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know why they wouldn't. It's probably just a matter of a texture that I didn't apply to the normal skin, because I've been mainly just messing with the skins that actually change the hero. So maybe that's what it is. I'll have to ask somebody and find out.
That's true. Yeah, because their master skins were always just their base skin, just with like the lava aesthetic on it, or
a little bit
some
of recolor.
So yeah, maybe it's not a whole other skin. Maybe that's why you're not seeing it. Maybe it's just like an actual just color, like a palette that goes onto it or something.
Some of those skins, dude, holy shit! Did you ever see the Shogun Murdoch?
No, I haven't. Oh, I think I saw it in the in one of the proof of concept videos. Oh no, that was Countesses. They show Countesses like Shogun. I didn't know Murdoch had one.
Yeah, his gun is just a big dragon head, and the bullets come out of the mouth.
Oh my god, that's
it's sick. It is sick,
dude. That's badass. See, like stuff like that is stuff that I can't wait to get in there and play. And just like, I don't know why there's like skins that they never showed off. Like there's just no reason not to. But I'm excited for Metabuff to really take advantage of it and give us what we're looking for, because they're fans just like us. They know what we want just as much as we want them. I guess
something they really haven't showed off to us yet, and I hope they do it soon, is their own ability to create new skins and new heroes. I mean, I know from talking to them, I'm pretty sure they have that capability, but they just haven't showed us that they have that capability yet. And it would be kind of nice to see, because that's going to be a huge part of the monetization, and the game can't continue forever if they're not making money off of it. So I want to see some new skins come out of those guys.
Right. Now, did you ever see the Pickle Richter skin that Opolis showed off?
Yes.
So like, I think that was a skin that they made. I'm pretty sure that was something that.
Yeah, but I could make that. That's not impressive. That's a funny joke.
Beggars can't be choosers. He wants something to show that they can make a skin. They made a skin.
They made a Pickle Rick skin. I'll be happy with that, I guess.
God. Oh man,
honestly, that would be awesome if that was a real skin in the game. I would love a Pickle Rick skin.
I think Opla said that's gonna be a skin. Like I'm pretty sure, like, because he showed that to me. I think it was on my stream with me and Pastor. He showed that to us, and I'm pretty sure like that's an actual thing that they're like gonna do. I could be wrong on that, but like that's fucking, that'd be so funny. And like when I looked at it, I was like, I'm pretty sure I asked him too. I was like, hey, Opolis, could you guys just like reskin this and make it brown so it can be a potato skin?
I don't think people would think of it as a potato though if it was brown. Shit, true. Rick coming at you.
Rick. Oh my god.
Rectum Richter. I don't know what you would call that.
Rectum Richter skin. Oh my goodness, Jesus Christ, that's funny. Yeah, no, I want to see some, at least, you know, maybe it's just some like character concept ideas, maybe, of what they're doing, or like at least, I guess maybe what would make me happy right now is if they were at least opening up to the idea of like new characters. They were like, if they started like some kind of a poll or something, they're like, hey guys, you know, what are some characters you'd like to see in the game? You know, stuff like that. Because then that would be like, okay, you know, now they're looking at new characters. They're getting to that point. They want to start making new characters. I think that'd be kind of my best thing, or that, or like I said, like a concept art for a new character or something like that.
Right. They could even have competitions and stuff. I know one of their concept artists they got from their Discord. Like, it was somebody that was just posting various Paragon art pieces that they had done in Discord, and they ended up picking them up as a concept artist for the company. So that's kind of cool, and I like to see things like that from the games. Yeah, it's really cool. You know, they are really paying attention to the community and, you know, who's posting what, and you know, they really do care like that. And, you know, they'll reach out to you if they think you have the talent and you're showing the initiative of showing off your work. You know, it could definitely pay off. Yeah. Good stuff. You know what I want to see is I want to see Shinbi with different types of animals instead of just wolves. Yeah. That'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be, you know what? If it ever came to this, and all of us streamers, okay, all of us community figures, we got to pick some kind of like implementation. This is in a perfect world. We all got to kind of like pick something we wanted in the game. I'd love to see Shinbi throwing out mongooses. That'd be amazing. That'd be great. That'd be so cool. Yeah, but no. British gonna be like, why not cats? Cats. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that'd be really cool too. Just seeing like different animals that she throws out. You know, like instead of a wolf, why not, like, you know, like if they did like a tiny zodiac skin, you know, like why not a dragon? It's like a small dragon. You know what I mean? Like, and like that's something that's not that I can't imagine that'd be that hard to implement. They would just have to replace the wolf model with, you know, another model that they would have to create. But like, I don't think it would be too hard past that, because it's not like there's, you know, variables and stuff like that. Because I was watching the for the Minions video you posted, and you had that person showing you how like the server and work and like all the like the actual like coding and all that stuff. Yeah. I can't imagine doing like a cosmetic kind of feature like that would really affect a lot. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Yeah. So I mean, like something like that, like that'd be really cool to see. Like that, I would love seeing cool stuff like that. Yeah, it's the skin ideas from the community are all just fantastic. We'll have to do a Corecast special where we talk about some of the community skin ideas, because there's a lot of really good ones out there. Yeah, that'd be cool. Or I would love to do that. Yeah, we could definitely go over some skin ideas and start opening up like some polls, and like I'll collect some info for my stream too. And that'd be fun. That'd be really cool, because there are some really cool ideas, like even just people listing off like characters and stuff like that they would like to see in the game. Since, you know, obviously because Metabuff is open to making new characters, right. You know, so a lot of people have been, you know, listing off like characters that they've always wanted to see that, you know, don't necessarily exist or kind of exist in another MOBA, but they're not like how they would like to see them. And so I've been getting a lot of stuff like that too. So there's some really creative people out there. Oh yeah. Let's move on from the from that topic and go on to number 4, which was shadow pools. Somebody asking for shadow pools, one near the solo lane harvester to add diversity and just throughout the map. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I think it should be one or the other. Either have shadow pools or shadow walls. I don't think you should mix the two.
So this topic initially came up focused around the solo lane harvester, because we were talking about it in my stream, and some people didn't like how far out, how in it was. Like it was too easy to see, just like it was too easy to like poke with a ranged character. Like a lot of people just had worries about that people would just break the meta and not do a Quang and a Fang Mountain. Somebody would just do like a Fei and someone else, and they would just poke. They'd always be poking that harvester. So someone was like, well, it'd be cool if you could, like we talked about this last time, I think, where your abilities only affect the harvester if you're inside the ring, but then to enter the ring, there's a shadow pool there. So like, a person who plays a fighter could, if they were going up against a ranged character, they could hide in there and wait, and, for the person to come up closer to do some damage and, get that extra jump on them. But I think that'd be cool. I kind of preferred the shadow pools a little bit more in some of the locations. Like I think having a nice mix of them would be interesting. Like shadow walls up in, like cutting through the jungle and stuff would be cool, but then like leaving the jungle to the side lane of solo lane, I think would be cool. Just like they used to have in the old one, there was that pool at the bottom of like the stairs that would split on each side.
Right. Yeah.
I think those are really, really cool spots for shadow pools, and it added a lot to the game. But I haven't been too crazy with the shadow walls, especially in like right now in the current version of core that we have. There's so many. There's like a shadow wall that leads to another shadow wall like instantly.
Yeah, there's a little too many, I think.
Yeah, I feel like they could cut back on some of them, or even and replace like maybe like one or two with like a shadow pool that would make it a little more diverse and give somebody a better chance to gank and give junglers a little more room to kind of work.
One problem I always had with shadow pools, and this is like a game bug that can be fixed by Metabuff. Shadow pools don't automatically mean that this would be a thing, but I remember back in Legacy, you could go into the shadow pool and put a ward down outside the shadow pool, and that ward, since you were in the shadow realm when you placed that ward would also be in the shadow realm, and it would it would still function and pick people up. But the problem with that was that if you were a melee hero and you couldn't clear that ward because you had to be in the shadow realm to clear the ward. And so you would have to, if you were ranged, you could stand inside the shadow pool and shoot that ward. But if you were a melee hero, you had nothing. You couldn't clear that ward. So that was a bit of a problem that we had with shadow pools. But again, that's something that they could definitely fix and make it to where if you're standing in a shadow pool and you throw a ward, it doesn't go into the shadow realm. It stays visible to everybody.
Or they could even just make it that the wards are only activated directly in front of the character. Like whoever's placing it, because that would get rid of that effect too. Like if you're Murdoch or Bellica and you place a ward, you can place it literally only in front of you. Like you can't drag your cursor out and place it far away from you. Then if you're placing it, then you're close enough to hit it too. So that would kind of get rid of that as well.
That would also prevent people doing shit like sticking wards up in the trees.
Exactly. Yep. It would stop a lot of that stuff. Where you standing as the ward goes. It's just as simple as that.
That's the other thing I was thinking. What they had kind of the jungle pathways that were elevated is that like somebody like Kalari could get up in there, throw a ward down, and nobody would ever be able to clear that son of a bitch unless there was another Kalari. But,
right. Exactly. Yeah. I'm hoping the wards they have them only placeable on the ground. Like they have to be placed on the main level because there's ways to stop that. But I think that'd be the best thing that they could do is just where you place the ward is where you place it. You can't drag it out and move it and shit like that. And that also kind of stops to almost like it almost kind of felt like cheating when I did this. I would stand behind a wall and I would place the ward kind of like diagonally to kind of like my blind spot in like a lane or something or in the jungle. Or like around the wall, sort of, so I could see what's on the other side of the wall. Yeah. And like, if the other person is playing like a Chimera and they're setting up a perfect gank for me, and I just just because of angles, I ruin that for them. it kind of feels like cheating.
Yeah.
So like, dude, doing that too, I think would be a really good idea. You can only place, where you press the ward button is where it places where you're standing. It doesn't, you can't, drag it out anywhere. I think it would make wards a lot more functioning. It would make them a little more dangerous to place, so people couldn't just, ward the shit out of your jungle because you can place it a mile away. If you're going to place a ward down in a good location to, point out the other team, you're taking a big risk doing that.
Yeah, I know. I used to try and put mine at the top of walls so that melee heroes couldn't clear them out, and that anybody with range would have to be pretty much pointing straight up and seeing nothing but the ward, which was and that was like illegal placement in competitive, like PCL. You weren't allowed to do that kind of stuff. You would get disqualified for that.
Yeah,
because it is taking advantage of
course.
Yeah.
I remember over by Gold Buff on Monolith, if you walked right past the Gold Buff, like that little shadow wall, and you were looking at the Orb Prime like room, or like the Raptor room, it was where the Raptors were, excuse me. So this would have been on the Raptor side, or maybe it was where the Raptors were. Right on that wall, like right in front of it where the river was, you could place the wards for the longest time, literally on top of that, and you could see past the shadow wall. You could see the entire river, anyone inside of the Raptor room, and like you'd put it up there, and like it was in a weird position where like even a range character couldn't hit it because like it was just like placed like inside the wall, and it was like that for so long. So stuff like that would definitely be taken care of, and I would personally like Metabuff to address that, and because other MOBAs do that too, like League of Legends. When you place your ward, it's where you're standing, and that's where it goes. I think, unless I'm wrong about that, and then I'm wrong, but still, I definitely think that should be a thing. I think that would fix a lot of problems, and that would stop people from just over warding for no reason. It's why not ward? I can place it a whole screen in advance, and there's no risk to me, so let me just place it here.
And that would fix the shadow pools thing.
Yep.
Bringing it back around to shadow pools, I mean, most MOBAs usually have, bushes, which are basically the same thing as shadow pools, just in a different configuration. So I think that's probably more along the lines of what people are used to with MOBAs, as opposed to these shadow walls. But like I said, I think that it should be either shadow walls or shadow pools. I don't care which, whichever one they think they can implement better. But I don't really like the mixture of both.
Okay, fair enough. I would kind of like, and I don't know how much work this would take for Metabuff, but just to release the map we have now, but with no shadow walls, and just throw a couple shadow pools in some locations, just to kind of see what would feel better. Again,
test it out,
yeah, I mean, I don't, that might take a lot of work, but I mean, with the version that they gave us, there's no plans to make that like a real working version, obviously, but like they could just throw a couple edits to that map. But I would like to see what the map would be like with shadow pools in, specific locations as opposed to all the shadow walls.
And of course, all of it will be a bit moot until we can actually get people in there and play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's when you really get a feel for which one you like better.
Right. Yeah, none of this is going to matter until we really start playing the map.
You know what I used to like to do with the shadow pools? When I would go in, immediately turn around and go right back out toward the person, because they would never be aiming directly at me. They would be thinking I was coming up the other side of that shadow pool. Yeah. And I'd be right in their face.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be the best thing to do. Just use the obvious against them. what me and my friend would do, because I'm pretty sure I told you the story when I played initially in Paragon and back in Legacy in the original days when you had to pay money to get into the game. I would play when Chimera came out. I was playing Chimera on offlane by myself. Didn't know he was supposed to be a jungler, so I'd play him in there. My friend would play Grux because he thought Grux looked cool, and he'd play Grux in the jungle. So he would sit in the shadow pool off by the side, and he would wait until he had his dash and his pull, and I would have my jump and one of the to attack quicker, and that's all we do. He would come in from the side of the stairs, go up the shadow pool, walk up their side behind them, and I jump on them, stop them. They try to dash, he'd pull them in, because at that point Grux pull was
Smash and grab was massive.
A whole fucking tower.
It took like 5 seconds to cast, but the
range was ridiculous.
Range was insane. And yes, I am being facetious when I say 5 seconds. It wasn't that long, but
yeah, it felt like it sometimes.
Yeah, he really wound up. He would like come from way deep. He would really pull that thing out.
Yeah, he would, and then it also like worked in waves. Like the cone would fill up slowly. It wasn't like as soon as he hit, everything pulled in. It was like a wave that like carried to the end of the cone. It was really strange. It was a really strange ability.
It was fun though.
It was, yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was dangerous when you saw him. If you were in the tower, you didn't want to be too close. And kind of jumping to him, I kind of hope they make his pull a little bit longer. I think it was way too short when they nerfed him, and they tried making it wider to compensate. I don't think that worked. I think they should make it a little bit longer.
They didn't release the animation for that, right?
Really?
Yeah, Smash and Grab that's why Grux is not in any of the pre-alphas. He was very, very incomplete compared to some of the other heroes out there.
Wow, that's really interesting.
He's missing animations for his ultimate. He's missing animations for Smash and Grab. He's missing quite a few of his movement animations. I did a little thing on it a couple weeks ago on For the Minions. Shimby had like 141 animations, and like 2 or 3 of those were travel mode animations that you never really got to see for Shimby. And Grux had 101 animations, and like 12 or 13 of those were for travel mode, which don't really even count. So I mean, it was like, if you count in the travel mode animations, it was about 50 less animations than Shimby had. So that's the reason why you don't see Grux in the pre-alphas. They're going to have to build their own animations for Grux if they want to bring back Smash and Grab and bring back his old ultimate and stuff.
Huh. That's really interesting. And I guess that could kind of full circle back to what you were saying earlier. You want something showing off that they're kind of making their own characters. I guess that'd be the first
when they can get Grux in there.
Right, because Grux will be kind of made from scratch. That's really fucking interesting. I didn't know that.
We'll know that they can make their own stuff whenever they can make Grux work, and we'll know that they have full mastery of the gameplay ability system when they can make Yin work.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, that'll be something.
That's more involved than you think, and like when she reflects a projectile, they have to change that projectile so that it's coming from Yin without changing the projectile into a different type of projectile, and also, factoring in her attack damage and the person's attack damage that fired the. It's Yin's going to be an absolute nightmare for them to make work. Maybe even more so than a hero like Revenant. So,
wow, that's insane. You know what they should do? Just not put her back in. I'm just kidding.
I love Yin.
No, me too. I really liked her.
I was trying to draw a cowgirl skin for Yin today, but I forgot. One thing I'd forgotten was that I can't fucking draw. So it didn't work out so well.
Oh my god. I meant to draw, but then I realized, I can do stick figures. So it's just a stick figure with a whip and a cowboy hat.
And booty cheeks. I put those on there, damn it.
God. I photoshopped a peach on there for her butt. That's about it.
And threw some Daisy Dukes on that peach.
Yep. Oh my god. Yeah. That's there's some cowboy skin would be really, really fucking cool for her. She was a really interesting character. That reversal, you could just reflect back fucking anything. It was really cool.
Yeah, and then her ultimate catching all the different projectiles from all of that different people. That's going to be hard as hell for them to program.
Yeah. That's gonna be an insane one.
Would you say it's insane? Huh?
Okay, you know what? I'm not doing this podcast with you anymore, Mongoose. I'm done after this one. Oh my god.
Moving on to the next topic before I dig myself even deeper.
Mandy, come get this guy. I'm done with it.
With my terrible puns. So, the next suggestion was the possibility of a first-person game mode, and I thought this was extremely interesting. The only what was that other? There was a first-person MOBA there for a little bit. Battle something. Battleborn. That's what it was.
Battleborn. Yeah. The people who did Borderlands, they made it.
It was not successful, but that doesn't mean that a first-person game mode for
the reason it wasn't successful. It was like there's a lot of people who love it, and like it looked really cool. It had unique characters and everything, but it came out against Overwatch, and they tried really competing with Blizzard, and that was a really bad thing to do because they were completely different games. There was no reason to try to like shit on Overwatch whatsoever, and they really tried going against Blizzard, and they lost that in the long run. But the people who have played it always really enjoyed it. There was I didn't know many, but once in a while I'd run into someone who played it, and they loved it. There was something really unique about it, and but yeah, first person mode in this would be kind of cool. I know in one of the Paragon, the old like Paragon Facebook pages, there was a picture, like one of the banner pictures, and it was a first person view of Grux doing the smash and grab, and it was like somebody like modded it or something. They must have, and they had like a first person game mode, and it was a really cool angle. Like to be even like that much closer to the action, I think would be like disorienting, but like in a really good way, like just like really crazy and like fun. I think the first person mode would be something that'd be really, really hard to do. Maybe changing the camera angle, but I think it'd be really fun. And it would take it would add a whole new element of like, do I want to turn this corner as the Murdoch? Do I want to do my jetpack backwards as Twin Blast? Because I don't really know what's behind me anymore.
Yeah, that's the big thing with the first person mode is that you have no idea what's behind you. It would definitely make for a more dangerous feeling game, I think.
Yeah, dude, like the anxiety that you get from like running around in an enemy jungle just as like a normal carry, even if you have like your support with you and you guys are perfectly fine, just that like anxiousness of just turning a corner and just you walk through a fog wall and the entire team is just having a meeting right there in front of you, which always happened. Doing that in first person, terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be all that hard. Like, again, messing around with the Unreal Engine, I was able to do that today. It was activate Murdoch as a first-person character, so all you could see was I was using the Shogun skin at the time, so all you could see is that dragon head. As I was running around on the first-person test map for Unreal, firing little tennis balls at boxes. I have a dragon head.
Yeah, that's so cool though. That's really cool. Yeah. So then I guess it wouldn't be something that'd be that hard to do. I mean, I think that'd be cool, even if it was just like a game mode, like just like a separate game mode. It was just like, even if it was just like 2v2 or like 3v3, just like something small, even just to have like a first person game mode would be so much fun.
I think that's a great idea. Just a 1-lane 3v3 that's first person.
Like an ARAM that's first person. I think that'd be incredible. That'd be so much fun, dude. That'd be wild.
God, Chimera would feel so good to play.
Yes,
in first person, just like ambushing in on somebody, and then you hit unleash and just start popping off with those axes.
Yeah, dude, there's some characters that would just really, really feel right at home in first person. I think that's amazing.
It just grabbing somebody with a Richter with Riplash.
Oh like, my god!
They're just face to face with you when you pull them in.
Dude, all you see is his hand coming up from the side of the screen, and that chain just wiggling out there like Scorpion, and then just pulling them in.
Oh, yeah,
that'd be great. Face to face. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I think that would add a lot to the immersion. I would hate for it to become a first person shooter.
But, absolutely. But a separate game mode. I'm always down for all this crazy stuff for separate game modes. But like. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I think that's something that they should definitely try working on.
Yeah, just thinking about the different heroes and how they would look in a first person. Just that would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
And like credit to Epic for like the amount of detail they put into their characters. There's stuff that we never get to see. Like there's like writing on the side of like Bellica's gun or like Murdoch's gun and stuff like that. Like you never get to see because like you're never that close to them really. But like getting that close and like seeing the detail of the weapons and like just like there's so much that you could like you'd be able to appreciate a lot more too.
Yeah, let's do it up. Let's do it up, Metabuff. Let's give us an ARAM first person mode.
Yep.
So moving on for the first person mode, our last topic, we're gonna be wrapping it up soon, but the last topic was a training room to test damage, DPS, movement speed, and other things, and test builds. And this was kind of answered by Metabuff. Is a tutorial or training mode already planned? The Proving Grounds are undergoing design at this moment, and you could kind of see that was an option in their UI video, was the Proving Grounds, which I will assume will be something much like this, where you can test out your damage, DPS, movement speed, and everything like that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something that's really important. I know Epic sort of implemented that with their like card builder thing that they had like in the launcher that was separate from the game, but having an actual mode where I can launch in and see, how much damage I'd be doing, not just to an enemy standing still, but an enemy steal, like with his shield up, because like he can still take some damage. Seeing what kind of damage you take to an enemy that has X amount of armor, kind of doing all those variables so you could prepare and to like adjust. Like, okay, now I can sacrifice some movement speed for more armor shredding if somebody does a lot of armor, because I'm not doing that much damage, so it doesn't make sense to move faster and makes sense to do more damage. Doing those kind of edits and stuff like that, testing it out and kind of like setting up your own variables is something that's going to be really, really cool. And if that's something they're including the Proving Grounds, I think that's perfect.
I would absolutely love it. I used to do videos where I would test things out. Like one of them I can remember is I tested out to see if there was what the damage increase would be for Shinbi if she used the Tainted Magic, or if she used an equal amount of CP on just straight up power. And that was such a pain in the ass video to do, because you had to go into AI versus AI by yourself, and you can't really get accurate data unless you perform the actions with different sets on the same person. So you had to hope that, like, say you did it on a Bellica, you had to hope that the next time you queued in for a bot AI match that the enemy team had a Bellica. Then you had to try and catch her at the same level with the same cards and perform the same actions without getting interrupted at all. And it was just a massive pain in the ass to try and do things like that. And it's something that the community really enjoys doing and enjoys watching and enjoys just testing things out for their own. And there was no real way to do that in Paragon to the detail that I wanted, at least. And if you try to do anything as a carry, you had Red the Fae all the way up your ass the entire goddamn game, doing her best to support you. That Red the Fae AI, it haunts me to this day.
And she would just take all your kills and everything, and just do the worst possible shit. Yeah, and I know what you mean. Like it was tough, because it's like, okay, I want to test out this build. You go to an AI match, and it's like, okay, I'm level fucking 15 or whatever, and these bots are still level 5. Like this isn't a real test. Like this doesn't happen in a match where a bot has 13 potions equipped and 2 wards and no actual like card. Like people don't do that. So there's no way to get like a real reading of like how good my abilities are going to be. And I think having a testing ground is going to be something that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, something that they're implementing. So hell yeah, that's going to make a lot of people very happy, because yeah, if you're a min-maxer, and I think most gamers to a degree are, they want to minimize and maximize everything they possibly can. If they could eke out 2 more points of DPS by doing one thing instead of another, then they will do that, and they will look for ways to eke out just a little bit more damage or a little bit more survivability and whatnot. And the Proving Grounds will give them a way to find out how to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then like then even just like there's gonna be people who want to do like videos on like like best Paragon or best core build for Shinbi, and like they can really show it off. It's not just like cheesy gameplay of them playing Shinbi in the background. Like they can really show off the numbers and prove like, okay, this is the damage you'll be outputting with this much with these cards, even if they have all this armor, you'll still be putting out X amount, and it'll be an exact amount, and they can really show that off, and it'll just give a lot more variety, and like it'll give new people, especially too, because like one thing that I always found was whenever I showed my friends the game, they'd be like, "Oh, what's all this card stuff?" And I'd always tell them, like, "Don't worry about that right now. Just play the game, learn your abilities, and then I'll explain to you the cards after like 2 matches."
Yeah.
We'd play, and then I'd be like, "Okay, now all those cards you have, you can pick them, and you can make your own deck, and then it'll make your character stronger, faster, more tanky, stuff like that." And they would love going through the cards and just like picking them out and like, "Oh my god, if I do this, it's going to add this much damage." But then like they'd get to that point where it's like, "But like, I kind of wish I knew how much damage I was doing." And it's like, "Yeah, me too."
Same here, man. Same here.
Yeah. It's like, welcome to my world. And like that's just something that'd be really cool to even just like hop in like a private lobby or something, with your friend, and just like do like a training, like a proving ground, and show them like, okay, this is how much damage you'll be doing, or even just like showing, if I never play this Mongoose, and me and you both, let's say we could hop into like a training mode together, and it's just you versus. And it's like, okay, practice your character, practice your combos. If I come at you like this, because this is a way that people are going to come at you, how are you going to react based off your move set?
Right.
There adds that whole extra element of intimacy between you and like anyone that you're playing with, that just makes the game that much more special. It's like, yeah, dude, I didn't play any core games last night, but me and fucking Mongoose were up for like 3 hours just messing with bills, and like we had so much fun. Like shit like that couldn't happen on Paragon, and that's stuff that me and my friends always wanted. Like we wanted to be able to do that.
Yep. And I'm really glad that they're going to implement that, and it's good stuff all around. They are again, Metabuff definitely listening to the fan base and what they want and what they need.
Yeah, and it's showing too. Like even like like I said, I watched your most recent for the Minion video, which is awesome, by the way. Everyone's listening should definitely check it out, even though it's probably the other way around. Everybody's listening to this already listens to that. But yeah, even just like the polls too, you can really see how much like and even though Metabuff hasn't released anything, like just the fact that like how much they're listening, how interactive they are with the community, it's incredible. The feedback that they're getting and the amount of support they're getting is very well deserved. Yeah.
I think that's going to about round out the episode. I think that's all the topics that we wanted to discuss this time around. If you guys have other things that you'd like us to discuss, or if you'd like us to ask Metabuff, let me know. This one will again be posted as a video, so if you want to let me know in the comments, go ahead. And of course, check out Nato's stream and hit him up in his stream and let him know some things that you want us to talk about and some things that you want us to ask Metabuff. So, Nato, you got anything you wanted to plug this week?
No, I guess just check out my stream. Also check out Mongoose's YouTube channel. Again, I'm sure everyone here that's going to be listening to this already does, but, check out the stream. And, like I've always said, the devs are always listening to you guys, but reaching out to your favorite content creator is going to be another surefire way that your message is getting heard, because we are obviously always talking to everybody and even just to each other and discussing ideas. And so, really check out the stream. And if you guys enjoyed, if you enjoy it, if you don't, you don't, move on to the next one. But I guess it's kind of the only thing I can plug, I guess.
Yeah, no worries. I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for episode 2 of Corecast. Thank you everyone for coming out and joining us for the show. And remember, even if the games don't turn out the way you want them to, they're still bringing Paragon back, and they're working their butts off. So get in their Discords, get on the website, get it on their Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want to get on, and cheer on Metabuff, because they're doing this for us, the fan base, and I certainly appreciate it, and I hope that you appreciate it too. But for now, this is Nato, Christo, and the Mangoose signing off. Episode 2 of Corecast. Farewell, everyone.
Bye.
Mangoose.